Jai Shri Radhe Ji. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing on day 228, the story of Vati Krishna Das, part 2. One day, Vati Krishna Das arrived in Vrindavan. He met the Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatan. He asked them, "What is Sri Krishna doing now?" Rupa and Sanatan replied, "Sri Thakurji is partaking of his lunch." Vati Krishna replied, "Sri Krishna performs uncountable pastimes at every single moment. So why did you say he was taking his lunch?" Rupa and Sanatan replied, "Because this is the holy sight that may be had in Gokul with Sri Gosaiji. Only those whom Sri Gosaiji allows can have that vision." Vati Krishna was pleased by their response. Part 3. Vati Krishna Das wrote many songs about the Lord's Leela and character. He composed Indrakop, Rasa Panchadhyay, and Rukmini Mangal, which is popularly known as Madhava Rukmini. He also wrote several new pads about the Lord's meal times. Anyone with whom Vati Krishna discussed the Lord's pastimes lost their stupidity and gained intelligence. Thus Vati Krishna Das was greatly graced by Sri Gosaiji and an accomplished Vaishnava. Part 4. One day, Vati Krishna set out to go to Dwarkaji. He arrived at a temple where there was a goddess temple. He arrived at a village where there was a goddess temple. He slept the night in that temple. Very early, the next morning, a man came there with a goat, which he intended to sacrifice to the goddess. There were other men with him. Vati Krishna Das said to them, "Why are you going to offer this goat to a goddess? Why don't you offer her a lion?" The man answered, "How can I catch a lion?" Vati Krishna Das replied, "I will catch a lion and give it to you. Let the goat go." The man released the goat. Vati Krishna went into the jungle and caught a lion. He brought the lion to the temple and all the men ran away. Vati Krishna Das let the lion go. The men returned to that spot and fell at Vati Krishna Das's feet. He told them, "From today on, never do harm to any sentient being." Thus was Vati Krishna's spiritual practice. Part 5. One day, Vati Krishna Das met with Chacha Harivamsji. He asked Chachaji, "What are the fundamental sources of the path of grace?" Chachaji replied, "Sri Vallabhacharyaji advocated 4 main authorities, which he stated in his Nibandha treatise. There he has written the Vedas, Sri Krishna's utterances in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ji, Ved Vyasji's Brahma Sutra, and his Vyasji Samadhi revealed words in the Srimad Bhagavatam. These 4 sources are known to be able to dispel all doubts and confusion. They are held to be the truth and proof above all others. Anything that counters them should be discarded." This means that the 4 main sources of the path of grace are the Vedas, Sri Krishna's teachings in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ji, Ved Vyasa's Brahma Sutra, and his teachings in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If one is confused by the Vedas, they should allay them through studying Sri Krishna's speech in the Gita Ji. If confusion remains, it can be disposed of through the Brahma Sutra, and if confusion still remains, it can be dispersed through the reading of the Sanskrit verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Any teaching that counters these 4 should be disregarded. This is what Sri Acharyaji wrote in his Nibandh. Vati Krishna was very happy with this answer. Bhav Prakash. The moral of this story is that Vaishnavas should always have firm faith in Sri Gosaiji. Through this they will experience the beloved Lord's Leelas. A Vaishnava must always avoid harming any being and keeping the company of other Vaishnavas. A Vaishnava must disregard anything said which denies the teachings from these 4 sources. Then their grace-filled devotion will become firm, and they will have single-minded, exclusive shelter in the path of grace. Thus concludes Varta 233, the story of Vati Krishna Das, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his story. Continuing today with Varta 234, the story of Raghu Das, son of Chaturbhuj Das, a Gaurav Kshetri who lived in Jamunavata. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Rajasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Adhira, who manifests from Rupa and is thus a personification of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. He was born to Chaturbhuj Das in Jamunavata. Chaturbhuj Das brought Raghudas to Sri Gosaiji to be initiated with the Lord's name. Through his Guru's grace, Raghudas became a good Vaishnava who had a good behaviour and a sound character. Once in the month of Phagun, Raghudas was walking in the direction of Gantoli. In the grove of Kadamba trees, he caught sight of Sri Govardhanaji playing holy with the gopis. Raghudas prostrated before them and sang one Damar composition. Damar, Rag Gori. Come on, let's go to where Sri Hari is playing with the gopis. Many drums are beating out a rhythm. Their singing in slow, sweet tones is so pleasant to hear. Everyone feels joy, and it seems the god of love himself is wandering around. As Krishna, son of Nanda, plays, the cymbals and the deep duffa drum rhythms pay homage to him. The Veena, Upanga, Changa play as the participants tease each other with insults. They are holding water spray guns and their faces are tinged with many colours. They have tied cloths around their waists and look amazing. The Vasanta season personified has come to Vraj Vrindavan to grant its great gift to all. Many carry golden sticks inlaid with multiple jewels. Everything looks so beautiful, and the sound of the drums, shehnai and dolak enhances this loveliness. The devotees of Vraj come there keenly singing and playing the melodies of Holi, which sound out like many waves and spread the mood of love all around. Hearing these sounds of spring, the beloved Radhika adorns himself with red powder for her bindi and parting, and after donning bright multicoloured clothes, she paints her feet pink, too, and plats her hair, the beauty of which cannot be described. It resembles a female snake ascending a golden vine. She wears lovely earrings, and on her chest a necklace of pearls, still glistening, which resembles the holy river Ganga, flowing between two beauteous mountain peaks. She draws a tilak on her forehead, with lines of musk which look like as if two-tongued snake come to imbibe the nectar. Her eyes put to shame those of the kunjan, bird, fish, and deer. Her face is like the moon, and her brows are like bows. Her nose is graced with pearls, the sons of the raindrops of the Swati Nakshatra. Even after searching, there is maddeningly no possible comparison to be found. Like a parrot who loves to fly, is caged and just stops eating. Her lips are red, and her teeth sparkle as if lightning is shining on a row of coral trees. Her throat shames that of the pigeon, and her splendid armbands are like clouds sprinkling water on lotus roots. They make the full autumnal moon become shy like babies. Her bangles are adorned with gorgeous bunchy black silken tassels, which are close to her and thus resemble black bees on the throat of a lotus flower, anxiously waiting to guzzle the nectar within. When all the ladies of Vraj gather together and walk, their ankle bracelets ring out loudly and sound like a congregation of playful swans. They have mixed together fragrant rose water, kumkum and saffron in a large vessel which they bring while singing songs of Holi. When Sri Krishna sees them approaching with their head-to-toe beauty, he feels very happy. They sing with such perfect pitch and rhythm that it seems as if they have studied at a music school. When my eyes catch sight of Sri Krishna, this ocean of beauty, I forget everything else. When I see the perfect symmetry and poise of his every limb, my heart is stolen away. His turban is multicoloured, and his earrings are of sparkling jewels, and look like two tremulous rivers rushing down from the peak of a dark mountain. On his chest he wears a garland of forest flowers of many shapes and colours, resembling a rainbow appearing within a rain-filled cloud. His tilak is made of sandalwood prepared by his beloved lady, and looks like a pair of snakes in a rain cloud. Even the blue lotus is shamed by the colour of his rain cloud tinged body, and his eyes are incomparable. Even the sun is an inadequate comparison to the effulgence of his beauteous face. He is gorgeous from head to toe, and the yellow cloth tied at his handsome waist resembles, O lady friend, the lightning within that rain-filled cloud. My tiny mind cannot possibly describe the ocean of beauty that is Sri Krishna, the enchanter. Just one glance ensnares the heart and shames even Cupid. The Vraja ladies are all joyous and holding various sticks in their hands for playing Holi. The cowherds lads then, shouting happily, get up and play the drums on all sides. Someone is holding red kumkum and someone pink gulal. Then all the Vraja beauties set off to capture the enticing Sri Krishna, protector of the cows. With signals from her eyes, Sri Radha points out Balaram. The gopis grab hold of his blue garments and pull open the ties. Then they grab the dark Sri Krishna and steal away his flute. All the youthful ladies smile as they bring buckets of water scented with flowers and saffron, which they laughingly sprinkle all over everyone. The son of Nanda is replete with loving mood. It seems as if many moons are surrounding a rain-filled cloud here on earth itself. Witnessing this scene, the gods and goddesses in their aerial cars are struck with wonder. They shower down flowers and play the huge heavenly drums. The Vraja ladies, coloured all over, come to Sri Krishna's home, and he gives them all sorts of clothes and sweets. Balaram and the cowherd boys all go to the Sri Yamuna river to bathe, and then don fresh clothes. Then, on the second day of the new month, the enticing Sri Krishna Mohan wears fresh and fragrant, beautiful golden clothes. When he sits on his golden throne, the poet Raghudas surrenders to him over and over again. Thus Raghudas sang this Damar. As he completed it, he left his body at that very place. When the Vaishnavas living at that spot heard of this, they got together and performed his last rites. Then they all came to Srinath Jidwar. At that time, Sri Giridharji was sitting in his father's Baitak. Other Vaishnavas and his attendants were sitting there. One Vaishnava humbly spoke up. "O Maharaj, Raghudas sang one Damar and left his body there and then." When Sri Giridharji heard this, he laughed. Everyone sitting there was surprised. Then Sri Giridharji smiled at all the Vaishnavas sitting before him. One of the Vaishnavas supplicated, "O Maharaj, why did this Raghudas leave his body in this manner?" Giridhar replied, "Raghudas was an accomplished Vaishnava. Sri Govardhanaji allowed Raghudas his holy site together with the gopis." Bhav Prakash. There is a reason given for Raghudas leaving his body as he sang the Damar. The happiness that he felt as he had the holy sight of Sri Govardhanaji's loving pastimes was too much for his body to bear. He dropped his mortal coils and gained entrance to the Leela. It is here explained that Sri Giridharji laughed on hearing about this because Raghudas's father Chaturbhuj Das remained in his physical body even after experiencing the Lord's many leelas in his heart and subsequently singing many compositions through which he gave such experience to many others. But Raghudas, his own son, could not contain the bliss of even one single pastime in his heart. Raghudas did not sign this Damar Pad with his own name. His daughter added 1.5 lines at the end and finished it off. Thus concludes Varta 234, the story of Raghudas, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his tale. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho, sab Vaishnavan ko jai Shri Krishna, jai jai Shri Radhe.